Hey guys, real quick favor, please hit the follow, like, and subscribe button. It really does mean more than you can ever imagine. Helps me get the fighter stories out and these stories get told. Now, on to our next guest, Coach Jason Strout. If you've ever watched the UFC, you've seen this dude. Super cool look, long braids down each side of his shoulders. Now, he is one of the best striking coaches in the world for Muay Thai boxing and kickboxing. He was also a kickboxer back in the day. We're going to find out his story. Let's dive in.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was wondering about this when I was driving home. Have you ever Googled your name?
I have a couple times. Yeah, of course.
How do you feel about
a few
that?
Times.
How do you feel about Googling your own name?
I mean, it's kind of cool and it's kind of weird.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know. I guess it's more cool than weird. It's like, oh shit, like I exist in that world. It's like, cause I grew up and you didn't have the internet, like you had to like learn about people through word of mouth and you kind of had to like put in work to like find out who somebody was. So like to be able to have something that I could just type my name in and like, then I appear and I got like a Wikipedia page. It's wild, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, and you didn't even build it.
No. Someone did it for me. And it's like, yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really cool.
I exist, right? I'm in the internet. I must exist.
You
so
exist.
I am a something.
Yeah. Well,
wild.
Like look, some fans that listen to this show, they don't watch fighting. So, so if you do Google your name, it says one of the best striking coaches in the world.
I like that. I mean,
right?
Why else do it? Like when I was fighting, I wanted to be the best at that. And then when I kind of changed gears and applied more energy into being a coach or a trainer, like, I want to be the best. Like, why have to it? Like, I'm going to do it and be the best that there is. I looked up to a lot of like coaches like Emmanuel Stewart and, Freddie Roach and like guys like this, Eddie Futch, guys of the past, like boxing. I'm like, they're the best. I want to be, if not at the same level as them or better, like, why not? Otherwise, why do this?
Yeah. Right.
I want to be able to be the best that I can have whoever I work with be the best at what they do. It just kind of goes hand in hand. But
yeah.
It's kind of cool. I feel like I'm not really like it says that, but I don't feel like I'm there yet. I mean, I guess I'll probably never feel like I'm there yet, but it's always something to strive for,
Yeah. Well, yeah, I just wanted to play like Ghost of Christmas Past, like take you all the way because obviously you see the best striking coach. For me, I'm like, oh, who was baby Jason Strout? like where'd you grow up? Where
all right. Let's take a little blast in the past.
Yeah.
So I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm back here now. So I've kind of taken a journey. I was born in Milwaukee. I left Milwaukee in 2004, moved to New York, spent a lot of time in New York. Probably 2019, I moved to Bangkok. I was in Bangkok and then COVID happened and I left Bangkok, came back to the States. I was living in my van between Milwaukee and New York, just kind of like doing whatever, figuring it out.
Yeah.
And then I got an opportunity to go down to Florida, to go train some fighters. And I was there for another 4 years. And then end of 2004, beginning of 2005, I left Florida and then just kind of been traveling around and ended up back here in Milwaukee. I got family here. I got a kid now. So it's like, figured I'd give it another shot. But today I'm driving around and, it was beautiful. Then also the snowstorm hit. So it kind of delayed my day, but it was like, driving like 20 miles per hour snowstorm, like out of nowhere where I've like been living in Florida where it's, you get a rainstorm and it's hot every day. So it's a little strange being back, especially coming back to where I started and where kind of like little me all began, like where I first learned about the sport that I'm involved in. So it's crazy to be back. It's kind of seems unreal almost. Seems like I know I left and I know I've done all these amazing things and journeyed the world and seen lots of things. So it's like I'm back where I started, but with a different view of life, or a different view of how things are, I know there's more out there than just this,
Yeah, it is strange. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's almost like it hits you way harder in your 40s, right? Like 20s, going back home, like 20s, 30s, you're just there to party. Like you're just there to hey, who do I know?
Visit people. Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But then in your 40s, you're just like, wow. So like what what feelings are coming up? Like, what are you remembering?
I mean, just, yeah, I don't know. It's just as far as the field I'm in, like I'm reminded of where I started, the gym I came from, how I got involved with that. But then also you drive through like different parts of town. You're like, oh man, I remember we used to go to, get in fights or whatever. And like just that different aspect of it, like kind of running into old friends and, we go past, so there's a place where we used to fight at called the Rave and the Eagles Ballroom. That's where I had my first fight and my last fight. And it's also where we used to, go see a lot of concerts and bands playing. So like going past that place, like brings up a lot of memories of like, yeah, I don't know. It's like hard to explain, but it's like, that's the first time I ever saw a Muay Thai fight. I remember walking in, saw this guy jumping in the air and elbowing the guy on the top of the head. And I was like, yo, I got to do this. Like this, cause I always wanted to box.
Yeah.
Then I saw that and I was like, man, I think I want to try this. I had a friend that did Muay Thai. He, trained here at Duke Rufus's gym. And that's kind of how I got turned on to it. I always just wanted to box, but then I learned about Muay Thai and kickboxing through, this guy, Paul Gazzo, who passed away. He was training there. So he was also in the hardcore scene. So like I kind of learned about it through him. And then that brought me to the gym. And then one thing led to another. I had my first fight at this place that I saw many shows at and kind of got introduced to kickboxing. So it's just like a whole world of emotions that come back,
Yeah. So is it, when you say you guys used to fight, like, is this, was it like structured fighting, like technical fighting, or was it just like two punks on the street just fighting?
You'd just be out and someone would say something and the next thing things would happen, or you'd be at a concert and somebody would do something and the next thing you know, you're getting hit or you're hitting somebody. It just was like kind of hanging around those kind of people where that seemed like happened a lot. We'd be, I had a punk house I lived at, and then we'd go out on the weekends, like go walk around. If there was a party, we'd show up, and sometimes people I were with, it just, didn't agree with the people at the house. And then one thing led to another, and, I didn't mind fighting and I didn't mind getting hit. So it was like just kind of one thing led to another. And then I just associated myself with those type of people where we were always seemed to be involved in some sort of situation like that. Not that I was always looking for it, but they just always seemed to show up and I was always there, never backing down. I didn't mind doing it. And that's why I kind of was like, well, maybe I should go to the gym and, not too bad at this. Maybe I'll give it a try,
Yeah. What, man, when you say like you just went in like to fight, where does that come from? Because for me, like we're a small town, I was always afraid to fight. You lose and you lose all your credibility or,
yeah. And it's funny this, like that small town mentality thing of like, cause in my head, I'm like, yo, I want to be the baddest guy. Like I knew guys that were tough and like the guys who kind of like, I don't know about feared, but the kind of guys I looked up to were like the badasses, the guys that like never, you hear stories, they never lose a fight. They were just, you never really ever saw them fight, maybe once or twice, but they had that aura to them. And you're like,
yeah,
I want to, in my head, my fantasy is like, I wanted to be that dude. I wanted to be the baddest guy around. I wanted to be the toughest. And, some people tell stories about, Jason beat up this guy or that guy. And, it just always wanted to be that. So like, we used to hang out in this like little, like apartment complex at a dead end street. And, we used to have like, I'd build like ramps and shit for like skating and biking. So we had this like little skate park back there, but it also had this like group of kids that we hung out with. And, someone had boxing gloves. So I was like, oh, this is great. So we'd, kind of get in the yard and just fight, like box. And I was like, man, I boxed everybody. I didn't care who they were, old, young, get beat up. I didn't care, but I would just keep going and I'd outlast most people. I knew I could take a punch. And I remember learning how to use my left hand because everybody would just throw a big right and I just wait for it, step back and catch them with the left. So it just kind of came, I guess it just kind of came natural to me, the fighting part. And I wasn't like shy from, I didn't, mind getting hit. Like I said, I wasn't afraid to fight. So I think that kind of like, kind of primed me for when I did go to this fight, watch it, be excited, show up at the gym, be like, yeah, I want to fight. And then 6 months later, had my first fight and then another fight, and another fight, and another fight. So yeah, I feel like I was kind of already getting prepared for whatever I got myself into.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like looking back at it now, it just seems like, it seems kind of crazy, right? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it just seems normal to me. Like I'm glad I found it. Kind of kept me, kind of changed my trajectory, like I felt like I could have been getting in a lot more trouble. But then when I went to the gym, I was like, you know what? I kind of enjoy doing this. I don't want to like miss out on the opportunity of where this could take me. If I got in trouble, I couldn't go to the gym and I wouldn't be able to fight and wouldn't be able to travel and see the world. So yeah, it kind of straightened me out a little bit, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
When did that start? Like first off,
So I started,
I have two
yeah.
questions. What, what led to you wanting to be the baddest? Like where do you think that came from?
Jeez, who knows, man? I don't know.
And when did it start? Like when did it start, like that fight? Like, oh yeah, I want to fight. When did that start?
I don't know. Maybe just growing up watching 80s movies, you know, like it just the environment of the times. Like, you know, I like those kind of, you know, maybe my dad had a big influence on it. The movies he watched and just maybe his attitude of like, you know, he was a construction worker, kind of hard nosed and just like, I guess, you know, like getting in fights, I guess, you know? So I guess growing up and seeing that and just being around that type of environment, like the guys he hung out with were just, you know, tough construction workers. And, you know, it just seems like, I don't know. That's a great question. I just was always like drawn to it, you know, like, you know, first time I ever saw somebody ride a BMX bike, I was like, yo, I got to do this. And I remember going to the park and seeing these dudes skateboard and they like had a launch ramp and they were like jumping off of it and doing hand plants. And I was like, man, that's the coolest shit ever. Like it just was drawn to that. And then like the first time I ever heard like the Exploited and Circle Jerks and like older Metallica, I was like, yo, what is this? You know, like it just that aggressive kind of like high energy. I just was like attracted to it. And I think that just kind of goes along with fighting, you know, like you like Bloodsport, you like the movie Kickboxer. I just like, you know, like guys with nunchucks and like knives. It's just like, I was just drawn to that. I don't know if there was maybe my dad's influence. I don't know. It just, or maybe the times or just.
Did you say your dad fought a lot? Did you say
I mean, it wasn't like in the ring, but he was, you know, like sometimes come home with a knot in his eye and, you know, he just, you know, construction worker type stuff. You get in an argument, you hit the guy.
Yeah. Did you, have you ever seen like, your dad get in a fight?
Not like, no, never like, just like aftermath or him talking about it. And yeah, but never witnessing it. No.
Yeah.
No, but like even just like, you know, he was a mason. So like I grew up like going to the construction site with him and just, you know, being around construction workers. They're just, it's a hard life, right? I mean, you wake up early in the morning, especially here, you work in the cold. So you just get that kind of like rough.
Grit.
Yeah. And then when you're kind of exposed to that, like those are the kind of people you're around. Cause then I stopped working for him. Then I eventually worked for another company doing the same thing. And it's just like, and also maybe growing up in the Midwest, in Milwaukee, now that I've traveled so much and seen different parts of the world, there's just a different mentality here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's just from growing up in the cold and like, it just kind of, I don't want to say hardens you, but it just gives you a different like perspective on life and a different like hard nosed kind of like you go to different parts of the country and it's like, you could tell like farmland or like, like smaller cities where they kind of have to like work a little harder to get noticed.
Yep.
So it just kind of shows up and it's just the environment of what you're in. Like, you know, just from living here and then living in New York and then traveling throughout Europe and then also just being around other people and other families and how maybe some other families have like more of a trajectory of like, you know, they have like, they're more inclined to like do more academics, you know, like, oh, they're going to go to school and they're going to graduate. What college are you going to go to? Like, I never was around that as a kid. So I never like grew up in that environment. So like seeing that kind of opens your eyes to like, wow, there is a different way to approach life other than like, oh, you know, I'm going to just graduate. I got a job. I'm going to do some sort of manual labor and that's it. And then all of a sudden you start seeing other people like, oh, I'm going to continue to go on to school. And then they have a career with that. So it's kind of cool to be exposed to those different paths. And, and who knows, maybe if I was exposed to that younger, maybe I wouldn't be doing what I was doing. I don't know.
Yeah.
But well, I don't know. I like the way I grew up because I feel like it has helped me in the field that I've chose, you know?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, well, I wonder how you view fighting, because most people view fighting as like violent, angry.
No, that's a great question. You know, like watching fights as a kid, like there'd be a fight on TV, boxing or whatever, like Sugar Ray Leonard, or Duran, they always stuck out in my head. I can't recall like the actual actions of the fight because I was young, but I remember seeing people either like the Sugar Ray Leonard, who's my favorite fighter, I don't know, Sugar Ray Leonard, but as a kid, he seemed like he was more the pompous, kind of cocky, kind of like you would more choose a Duran or a Hagler, like for the working class man who was like grittier and didn't talk much and got out there and got the job done.
Yeah.
So like, I always remember like growing up thinking that, but then as I got older, I'm like, I love Sugar Ray Leonard. I love that the way he carried himself, the way he, had that confidence and backed it up. But he was still mean and gritty. But yeah, watching fights then to now, even like when I first started to watch a fight, now it just seemed like, I remember a great example. So I'm at one of the fights in New York City. I used to work with a guy who did Friday night fights. It was a Muay Thai promotion. And I own a gym with him. So I've known him a long time. We're just sitting there having a normal conversation, and we're looking in the ring, and there's these two guys like, kicking, elbow, knee, like, trying to like get each other out of there. And it just seems so like we're detached or desensitized, or it just seems so normal, where the rest of the crowd is going crazy. Like maybe somebody's their first time there. They're watching it. They don't really understand what's going on, but for some reason they're cheering to have this guy knock that guy out because they know someone. And me and him are just like, look at, that guy got knocked out. I just view it so differently now. And even like watching fights, now I can't help but like constantly like break it down and watch it more from a strategic or a technical aspect other than just like an entertainment purpose. Sometimes I will be entertained, but a lot of times I catch myself like analyzing what's going on and seeing how that person can do something better, or why they were able to do what they did and got away with it. I feel like I'm so far removed from just two guys beating each other up.
Yeah.
It's an art form now to me, like it can be beautiful. It can be ugly. There could be consequences to it that people don't think of. They think, as a kid, like, go back to watch these movies and you see like a Rocky movie or like an 80s movie, someone gets beat up and they're like, they take all this punishment and they come back and fight. And I'd always like fantasize about that as a kid. Like, you're getting beat up and then you come back, man, you get hit once or twice. You're not coming back.
Right.
Right. You get hit once good. I mean, it could ruin your whole week, like it's such and so when people watch it nowadays that they've never been hit or been in a fight, they think like, oh, a guy got hit and he's out. It's fine. Like, man, you get hit and like every time you get in the cage or the ring, it changes you. You don't ever come out the same way. You may win, you may lose, but I've heard people say it before, but it's true. You leave a piece of yourself in there.
Yeah.
Like you give a lot to build up to the fight. Yeah, you're a different person. So like, knowing that from seeing people change throughout their career, knowing what they leave in there or what they risk or what they give, just kind of gives me a different approach and view of the fight too. You know what I mean? Like, so there's two guys fighting and then we go about our normal day. Like, I have to see these people. I have to deal with these people. I have to maybe have them fight again, or maybe tell them they shouldn't fight anymore. So yeah, it's like I get to look behind the curtain and see it from a different view. You know what I mean? And I still love it.
So big picture, that's interesting. You said that. So big picture, take one fighter. You don't have to name them, but like one fighter, or a lot of fighters that you've trained. Do you think that when they step in the ring, you said it changes them? Do you think it changes them big picture for the better? For
both.
So do you think it neutralizes itself out?
I mean, it can. I've seen some people build confidence, almost grow up in there, kind of, because it's the ultimate proving ground for yourself to find out who you really are.
Yeah.
Like you can't hide in there. You can say anything you want outside of the fight. Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. And it's like, but when you get in there, it's like, it's just you and that person. And it's pretty much you against you, right? I mean, it's you either going to dig deep and push. You're going to find a way out. You're going to find a way to, come back and win. There's so many different ways to approach it. You know what I mean? So yeah, you can see people, and most of it, they change for the better. I don't think I've ever seen anybody do this and then come out and like be a more negative person. Like they can be bitter about their career if it didn't go the way they wanted it to, but I think overall it changes you for the better, but it also takes a piece of you. It takes a piece of your sacrifice. You sacrifice a lot to get to where you're going to go,
Yeah, that's beautifully put. I love how you said you can't hide in there.
No.
Man, that's big. That's humbling. There's
it really is.
So
much. Even watching
wrapped in
people
it.
spar for the first time, like when I had the gym in New York.
Yeah.
And I was working with just people that were coming in for fitness and whatever. And the first time they get in there and spar, you can see they're nervous. They're like, oh, they're not sure of it. And then the more they do it, the more they come to the gym, the more they expose themselves to that. It feels like they level up almost. They're like, oh, I've done this, I've accomplished that. And I think maybe in other parts of their world, their life too, they can be like, well, I've done this scary thing and I've got past it. This isn't that scary. This isn't as scary as that guy trying to rip my head off.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of like, you can just level up from it. It's kind of cool to see that, see someone like progress. And
Yeah. And I wonder, like, this just popped into my head. I wonder if, like, you know how we put on masks constantly. Like,
Mhm,
we'll put on a mask when we're talking to somebody, or like, whatever. We're masking hurt or pain, whatever it is. Um,
mhm.
I don't think you can wear a mask when you're training. So almost like anything you got going on inside of you,
Comes out.
yeah, is in the ring with you
Yeah.
and
Yeah. It
gets
shows
beat
up.
up or gets beat out,
Just gets
whatever.
pulled out. It just gets pulled
Yeah,
out of you.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. You're
Um,
having a bad day. You show up at the gym. It's like, you could tell. I'm like, oh, you good today, man? Like, what's up? And then they'll find out, like, some whatever happened, and they get it out, and they're kind of like, oh, thank you. Like, I got that out and moved past that, but yeah, you can't
yeah.
hide. It comes out. People, especially when you're with a fighter for a long period of time, like, years or whatever, you kind of learn their personality and know when they're good, know when they're not, know how to kind of like play the tune, you know what I mean? Kind of get them to kind of go with whatever. And if they're having something that they're struggling with, you just kind of like go with it and, recalibrate.
I think that's part of what makes you the best striking coach. What you just said right there, because I could see that that's kind of how you do it. Whereas somebody else, man, that must be tough. Like when you see a new fighter, it's like you give them a couple pieces of information and then like see them out. But when you're with a fighter for a long period of time, I would assume that it would be hard not to try to steer their path, because you see
Mm-hmm.
so many positives and negatives and like flaws that you kind of want to smooth out. But I don't think you can allow
That's what
your
makes
own.
them, that's what makes them them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can't take away who they are. You know what I mean? Like, if they're like kind of crazy or whatever and impulsive, like, that's them. There's a reason. I mean, to get in the cage or the ring, you've got to kind of have to have a little bit of, that. Otherwise, you kind of play with it. You don't want to ever hide that or take that away. You can maybe try to like redirect it, but you can't ever change who the person is. You got to let them be them, because that's how they're going to shine, right?
Yeah.
Like, well, the person smokes, does this, does that. All right, cool. That's them. Like, you just let them be them and just kind of guide them and get the best out of them. Like, you can't change who they are, to that extreme. You got to let them be them. You got to let them be who they are.
So
That's how they be.
you don't play psychologist ever, or do you
I mean,
what happens if they
maybe
bring
I do, maybe I don't.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to say?
Well, I was just going to say, like, to add to that question, like, what if they come to you and ask something and it's like, well, like, you do see all this stuff. Do you bring it up? Do you not bring it up? Do you just let them?
No, because they're there. Maybe they come to the gym to get away from that, and maybe they're trying to come to the gym to work through that, or maybe they don't even know that's what they're doing. But, if something, it's also like throughout my career, like in the beginning, it's hard not to point out what someone's doing wrong technique wise. If you keep doing that, that's all they're going to think about, doing that wrong. So it's the same kind of thing. If I keep pointing out what they're doing wrong in life, they're going to still keep thinking about that. You know what I mean? So I guess you kind of steer them in a different direction if you could, or just show them new things, give them a new light and a new direction, and just give them different paths they can choose, but letting them do it themselves. You can't force them to do something, but you can show them things and show them there's a different way, perhaps. And this goes through training or whatever else, like, and just give them those different paths and kind of let them, and if they get off, maybe try to bump them back on or steer them in the right direction. But at the end of the day, they got to believe it. They got to like think that they came up with it. You know what I mean? Otherwise, how else do you learn something if you can't do it on your own and be able to figure out something on your own? Then are you learning? Or are you just following a path and then you're never evolving, right? You're never becoming better, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm in my head right now, like thinking about it, like,
yeah, but you know what I'm saying?
because
Like,
it's very profound what you're saying. Yeah, that's really good advice. Yeah.
otherwise you're just following somebody else's thoughts and ideas, but they're not yours, right? You haven't changed your mindset. You're just covering up what was there and then just going on with what someone told you. But do you believe it? Do you not? And how do you stay on that path?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if it's not yours, if you don't feel it inside, you don't feel like you own it or truly believe it, or you thought of it in a way that you can comprehend, then hey, it's not yours. You're just following,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, no, that's very true. That's very true. I mean, God, you're hitting my parenting style right now. I'm just like, oh, that's how I
Maybe,
need to train my daughter. Okay.
that's a whole different world too, right? Just
Yeah.
that approach. Like, yeah, I mean, I feel like training fighters for such a long time kind of helped me prepare for being a father, just how to deal with it, because that ain't easy, man. That is
Yeah.
not easy.
It's
That's
not.
not easy.
It's
No,
not.
beautiful and challenging and any and everything you've never thought of before. And it's just like in your face and you're dealing with it. And it's like, here it is. This is reality now. You can run from it. You can hide from it, but it never ends well, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you gotta deal with same thing. You gotta deal with what's in front of you.
Yeah.
You gotta deal with it in the moment.
Yeah.
And it's another person you're dealing with and you're trying to guide them in the right path as well, right? You want to show them the right way, but again, you don't want them to just follow, right? You want them to be able to decide on their own. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, scary.
How old's your kid?
He's just going to be 2, so it's all starting,
Wow. So
Yeah.
have you ever felt like you wanted to, like, obviously you're
No.
not going to run, but have you ever felt like,
Yeah, of
scared?
course. Like, yeah, of course. Yeah. Like the minute I found out we were going to have a kid, I was like, oh man, I thought like I would never have one. And now I got to deal with this, but yeah, terrifying. Like, yeah, you start thinking like, wow, life will be different and life is different. Life's different. It's different, but it's good. It's challenging. It's like you find yourself getting more frustrated about things and
Yeah.
then you got to learn how to like calm down and center yourself more. I don't know. It's just like, you can't just go take off. Like I can't just be like, all right, I'm out of here. I'm going to go do whatever I want the rest of the afternoon. You're like, all right, I got to wake up. I got to get this thing fed, or I got to make sure that my partner's has enough things so that she can take care of them and then make sure she's taken care of. So it's like, there's a whole new world of things that you're responsible for,
Yeah.
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 It's scary, but
Do you find yourself
is it
like,
beautiful?
yeah, it's so beautiful.
Oh, it's something. It's nothing like you could ever explain.
Yep. Yeah. I tell people that all the time. They're like, well,
Yeah.
I'm a pet parent. I'm like, no, you're
I mean, that's beautiful too.
Yeah.
Being a pet parent, that's challenging and
Yeah,
that's special.
you're right.
But till that little person looks at you and it's like, you're their life,
Oof.
you're their world. It's like, wow, dude, I hope I
Yeah.
don't mess this up. Like, I hope I can figure out a way to get you through life so that you don't choose some of the paths I've seen other people fall down. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what do you naturally feel like if things get tough, you kind of want to jet?
No, I don't, I never, no, it never crosses my mind to like take off, I mean, I like to move around a lot, but they would come with me.
Yeah.
But never like just getting out of the situation. Nah, just kind of, yeah, just go through it. Like, let it change you into something for the better, right?
Yeah.
Like the fight game. I know it's not easy. And I feel like I had my kid at this time for a reason. Like, I don't know if I'd be able to do it if I was younger. Like, I try to picture myself as a 20-year-old with this situation and be like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'd be mentally strong enough or be able to hold it together as much, like I feel like I've evolved a lot as me, like controlling my temper and just little things like that. And, I still get heated now, but I feel like I'm more aware of it when I do it. And I don't do it where it's like, you can kind of fall in love with that feeling of like, that rage, that like negativity, that, crash and burn and just keep crashing and burning and just keep going and just keep digging the hole and that whole, fuck everything. It's so easy to take that path. It's so easy to be like, light the fire, burn it all down and just keep going.
Well, that's what I was wondering when you were talking about fighting and like when you first started fighting as a kid and the hardcore scene. Is that kind of how you saw it?
I guess so. Just like didn't give a fuck. Kind of like that whole punk rock, like fuck everything. Like whatever, dude. Like no one's going to tell me what to do, but then I was also still had a little piece of being exposed to hard work through my father, like, and responsibility and, you earn so that you can, make money, whatever. Like it's just that whole hard work kind of world. I'm glad I was exposed to that because man, I probably would have been a lot more reckless. Like I feel like having a job and having to get up and go somewhere every day. And then sometimes I'd be like, I ain't going today. Like you'd have those moments. But if I was never exposed to that world of hard work and discipline, then I probably would have just been like, screw it, like the rest of my friends, just like whatever, and like squatting. Like I was the one who had the house, but I was the one paying the bills. Like we had like
Yeah.
punk house and stuff, but
Oh,
I was like
wow.
my name on the lease, and I would like have the electric and like try to get the other guys to pay. So it was like, it wasn't as wild as like some of the other dudes. Like they just live on my couch, and a dude just lives on my couch forever. I don't know where he is now, like, so yeah. Like I think, everything, yeah, just kind of leads to now, and like
Yep.
everything's happening now for a reason. Like I think I was meant to have this kid now because I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
I think I'm ready for whatever it is I'm doing in this world. Like I'm ready now. Like I don't know if I would have been ready then, and that's maybe why none of that happened. Like I feel like everything kind of fell in place for a reason, whether it was good times, bad times, hard times, or even now when I'm frustrated, like what am I going to do? Like I'm here in Milwaukee. What am I going to figure out? Am I going to do a gym here? Am I going to continue to train people elsewhere? Like it's kind of a weird time right now. And now I have a family. So it's like, yeah, there's a lot of different, questions that need to be answered, but I don't feel that stressed about it as much as it is stressful. I'm like, you know what, whatever. I'm like, now I'm 10 minutes from my mom. My dad's like, half hour from here. So it's like, I've been away from them for so long. It's like, it's kind of nice. So I'm like, you got to look at, even though it's like 4 degrees outside and it was a blizzard a minute ago, it's like, what is important? Like me living in Florida where it's 80, but not having family, or being here where I'm like, my sister's going to come over later. And, it's just like putting the important things first, right? The things that matter.
Yeah.
And just being able to be aware of what those are.
Yeah. It's so I was laughing while you were talking because I'm like, it's so funny that you just said you're in a stressful situation, but you're not stressed and you're like kind of going with the flow. I've heard you in another interview where I'm like, man, your life seems like it just flowed from one thing into the next and it just flowed naturally and you were so calm. But then you talk about this like crazy rebellion that you have, that you want to go into the hardcore scene, you want to go fight. It's really interesting.
It really is, because I feel like I live, I don't know, like almost in a different world or something. Like just the shit that I do. Like I don't know. I feel like some people are on. I don't know. It works though. Like I need that like chaos of like so I was in Vegas like last week, and like I was with a fighter and we were done training, or we had downtime, like, all right, see ya. And then I take off and I'm like walking the tracks, like the railroad tracks, and like, trying to find graffiti spots or whatever. And just seeing that wild life of like, dudes, I don't know if that guy's dead. This guy lives in this tent. And it's like walking through that chaos just feels kind of normal. It feels like I need to be around that sometimes to kind of like put my life in perspective or something, or just be exposed to a different side of how sometimes life could be, to kind of maybe keep me straight and where I'm at. You know what I mean? Like,
well, how do you view it? Do you view it as like, as a seedy life, or do you view it like, man, like as a big picture, this world is so chaotic and beautiful. It's like the yin and yang of the world. Like, how do you,
maybe more towards that, or maybe I do like the chaos in a certain way, like to be around that like car wreck, kind of like, dude, that guy's like, well, how could that could have been me? It could be anybody I know. It could be, who knows how that guy's life or that person's life got turned around, or why are they living back here, or, drugs or whatever else got in their way. And it's like, why them? Why did that happen to them and maybe not to me? You know what I mean? Like, where I feel like it could have. I feel like maybe I've seen enough of that where I know not to take that turn, but did they not have that either, that moment of like, or you just don't notice it when you're in it and you just get so far gone, you don't know how to stop yourself. And that's maybe why I never started like doing drugs, because I knew maybe that could be a path that you can go down. And if there's something some sort of thing that I'm under the influence of, that I wouldn't be able to stop myself from going down that path, and I wouldn't know that I've gone too far. Like I like to stay in the moment, so I know kind of a reality that I'm in that I can kind of get a grasp on it. Cause I feel like I'm always kind of like, could slip one way or the other, just be gone, you know? So I think that's why like, drugs and alcohol, I stayed away from that just because maybe it scared me that I would disappear into that world because I just feel drawn to it. Like, like
Wow.
the other day I was driving back from Florida and I went to go look for coffee in Gary, Indiana. And I was like, I'm gonna go drive downtown. It was just like those abandoned buildings and that like gritty, grimy, like was once a world and it looks apocalyptic. Like I love like creeping around old buildings and just seeing what's in there and like the danger. And like, I was in a building in, New Orleans not too long ago and it was like, it was kind of scary going in there. And I was
Yeah.
like, I found a spot to like, do some whatever. And I hear someone walking. And I was like, yo, he's coming up the stairs. I'm like, so I'm like trying to hide. I'm like, what do I do? Like, so I just chilled. I was like, yo, what's up? He was like, hey, man. And I was like, hey, what's up? He's like, oh, I live up there. And then we just started talking like, all right, cool. But it was
Wow.
dude, it was just me and him. Anything could have happened. You know what I mean? Like either one of us. So it was like, there was that like weird tension of like, oh, who knows? It could have been cops rolling in, anybody, but like this dude rolls up and I was like, oh, what's up? He's like, oh, you're getting down. I was like, yeah, whatever, like, hey, how long you been living here? And I just started making small talk. And then sometimes I end up having long conversations with these people and you kind of find out a little bit of their life, which seems so interesting too. Like they don't necessarily say how they got there, but you can kind of see how they got there. And it just, yeah, it's like I've met a lot of cool people that way too. Like there was a guy that was living when I first went to Florida. I was like bored, so I go down by the beach every day. There's a dude that just lived in the trees, man. I talked to him. He used to be a carny, so he'd travel around, but then COVID hits, that he couldn't travel. So he was just living there, dude, and just he got hit by a car down there. It was just like wild,
Wow.
man. Like wild stories. Like, then you go to the grocery store and you see some person, you're like, I wonder what their life is like, like completely different, like
Yeah,
maybe they've never seen that. I don't know. Life is crazy, man.
it
Just there's
is.
so many cool and interesting stories out there, right? Like, and I feel like the path I chose exposes me to so much of different people's lives that I probably would have never been exposed to if I just stayed back here and worked construction and had a nice house and kind of like had everything steady, But
Yeah.
I took that crazy path of like, yo, I'm in a different town today. I'm here, I'm there. But look, it ended up now I'm here and I got a beautiful family. So I don't know, man. Like, I don't
Huh.
know.
Wow. Yeah, it's almost like you have one foot in, one foot out.
Yeah.
Or one foot in both worlds.
Yeah. And it kind of helps me keep it together. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
kind of need to go out and do that sometimes. Go out and like do something a little crazy, but not too crazy, but just enough to be like, all right, I can come back to my life and I'm like, I'm cool now. I'm like out of my head. I'm not constantly thinking about that or I'm not constantly like, I should be doing that or I should be doing this. I got to go do that. Like I get it out of my system. I can come back and be like the dad and like go to the store. Like, I was at the grocery store getting food for them so that she can eat and he can eat. It's like, yeah, I need that balance. Like even going to the gym, like I got to go to the gym yesterday and hit something like kind of balance me out. Like I
Mm-hmm.
need that, like back to the whole aggressive thing. Like I need to get that outlet out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did that start? Cause,
I don't
you're
know,
not,
dude.
I don't think you're aggressive at like 2 or 3, right? Like there's no,
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I just had a lot of energy. Maybe it's just
yeah.
like as you get older, you don't know how to handle the energy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you don't know how to have an outlet for it. I see kids like that too, like where they're just like pent up and they're telling, no, no, chill out, chill out. It's like, no, let them get wild, let them get it out, and yeah, who knows why? Who knows why I felt like more like or high strung or aggressive or yeah, I don't know. I don't think there was like one thing that like something happened in my life that like made me that way. It was just like, that's what I was drawn to. I don't know. Just, it's in there. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm aware of it. I'm aware of it now. So I know how to handle it more. I think when I was a kid or my teens or whatever, I was just like, I didn't understand it. So like being mad and angry just felt normal. Just felt like, this is it. Like, I don't know, it just feels right to do that.
Hmm. Yeah, that's why I asked, how do you view fighting? Because, now it makes sense. Like everything you said, when you're sitting down, you're watching a fight, you don't see it as brutal. It's more of, technical
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
what you could have done, what you should have done, what you did right. But when you're a child, when you first saw fighting, what did you think then? Did you think exciting?
Yeah. Entertaining, exciting. Like I guess I grew up more watching fights and movies. So they're like,
Yeah.
dramatic and like Rocky's getting beat up. And I like that whole, and then you come back and blood sport, he's getting beat up and he comes back, throws a crazy kick. And it just seemed, I guess the whole overcoming something maybe and coming back and like being the hero, I guess. I don't know. Like, that would attract me,
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that
Like,
makes a lot of
he
sense.
saved the day. Like, oh, someone was picking on the girl, and then he came back and beat him up, and now he gets the girls.
Yep.
Like, yeah, it's just like, and watching those movies again, like nowadays, like, wow, that shit was crazy back then. Like, how it was all. It just seemed like a lot of that, like somebody overcoming something, somebody becoming the hero, and then at the end, like whatever, it's that same kind of formula. I was like, wow, different times. I don't think kids are exposed to that or have that kind of,
Yeah.
like just think of the different eras of movies, how they're kind of based a little bit more on what's happening in the world. And then they kind of portray that in the film. And so you can watch like this film from 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, like the beginning 90s were a little more violent. And then it kind of smoothed out more romantic comedies and things like that. But yeah, just like even sports like football in the 70s and 80s, those guys were animals, man.
Yeah.
They were just going, they break their arm, they keep going, like, oh, it's funny. I'll watch, what's that? There's that dirt bike movie on any Sunday or any given Sunday, where it's like they follow these guys around racing dirt bikes, and there's this one guy who does flat track, and a guy broke his arm, and the other guy, then he sawed the cast off so he can keep riding. Like, you wouldn't do that nowadays.
No.
Or like a guy got a concussion, and you like just taped his helmet on, and you kept racing. Like, you didn't know, and it was just different times, right? You want to think that they were like harder and tougher, but maybe they just weren't smart,
Yeah.
They just didn't know enough. They didn't know enough. You didn't know that was maybe a bad idea to keep doing that,
Right. Yeah.
Where now we're so exposed to everything. Like, you can look it up like, oh, I broke this and maybe I should stop because that could lead to that and this,
Yep. Yeah. Someone put it like, I think it was my acting coach told me, we have it in us to always want to defeat the dragon and get the princess. Like, that's just a guy's life. Like, we want to do that.
Right?
So it makes a lot of sense. What was I was going to ask you? Oh, you said to be the hero. Do you feel like that was what got you into fighing, or what you got you into fighting is like just anger?
I just wanted to do it. No, I don't even know if it was anger. I just, and maybe it was because I remember like getting in the ring for the very first time and like all the people cheering, like, yo, that's a feeling you can't describe. And it's kind of like, you want more of it, like that's a great feeling to be like, yeah, they're all cheering for me. And I get to go beat this guy up or show off maybe. Like, maybe I like showing off a little bit, and that kind of maybe where that came from, like, ride BMX bikes. Like, I love going fast and jumping over things or doing maybe things that other people were like, oh, wow, how do you do that? Like, I think I got off on that. Like, and I think that's what the whole like graffiti world too. It's like, you do something in a crazy spot. Some people are like, yo, how do you do that? And you're kind of always showing off to your peers and trying to one up each other. So I guess that's in me where I'm always trying to like one up. So like, if you beat someone up, you're like better than that person. And people are like, wow, he did something that other people wouldn't do. So you get that little bit of, that like the edge, that feeling of like doing things that other people wouldn't do. Maybe that kind of like fuels me too. You know what I mean? So maybe that is the hero thing, the hero mentality of like, I'll do that. They won't do it. I'll be the brave, whatever. And the most, craziest, dangerous guy, and I'll overcome this. But I don't know, maybe that's why I do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I want to raise the best kid, like same kind of, put the energy in certain fields and just knowing how to deal with that too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. So you rode dirt bikes when you were little as well?
Like BMX bikes. I couldn't afford dirt bikes. I didn't ride dirt bikes till later on when I could afford one. And then I bought one, and I got like a small one. And then I got like, I was going to decide which one I was going to buy. And my buddy had a 254 stroke, and I got on that. Like, this is cool. And then my other buddy had a 300 2-stroke CC. And I got on that. It scared the shit out of me. And I was like, I got to buy that. So I went and bought a Husqvarna 300 CC, started figuring out how to ride it. Then they talked me into racing, hare scrambles, like in the woods. And I was like, dude, I was terrified. I didn't know, what am I doing out here, dude? I don't know how to ride. And
what are hare scrambles?
It's like a 2-hour race in the woods. You all line up, and then different groups go, and then
2
you race.
hours?
Like almost like it's like a mountain bike trail. Yeah. It's like how many laps you can get in a certain amount of time.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
I've
fun.
never even heard of that.
Like, yeah, they're like enduros. They're called enduros, maybe hare scrambles. And I was doing them in Pennsylvania, and they talked me into doing it. I was like, man, I was like, the first one I did was horrible. I finished, but I was horrible.
How old were you?
Another one, like late 30s, like not that long ago.
Oh wow.
And I was like, dude, I gotta do this. And then like the next season I did every single race. I was like, every race I get in my van, drive out there for hours. And I'm like, I did every race. And then I won the series that year. And I'm like, I won a couple races. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to figure out how to do this. And then I just kind of got all right at it, you know, but it was that drive of like, I don't, again, like wanted to be the best at something. So I'm like, and it was cool to do it because it gave me that like feeling of when I fought, like I drive that race, I get nervous. I thought, oh, here we go, dude. And you'd be on the line. You'd be like, all right, dude. And they'd be like, 10 seconds. You'd be like, we're next, dude. And it's like, you can just feel it in your stomach and you're nervous. And then you go and then you're like, your arms are shot. And then you got to go for another hour and a half, hour to 2 hours. And then like,
Wow.
keep going through and push yourself, you know?
Wow.
It's dangerous and it's wild and it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
I wish I could get more people to see fighting like you do. Cause like the way you view fighting, like anything that's extreme, yeah, it changes you, like you said.
It does, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Because
does.
I think a lot of people like even telling friends about this podcast and like,
Yeah.
you know, oh, I'm watching the fights or something like that. They're like, oh, you watch those? Those are, you know, it's too violent.
But they are,
and
it is violent. It is brutal. And I've like, I can see it too. Like I've seen guys get knocked out and I'm like, I can't look.
Yeah.
And like, I think that guy might be dead. And it's like, what am I doing? And sometimes I'll be in the corner yelling, being like, encouraging my guy to hurt that guy faster so that my guy gets out of there safer. But then they're doing the same thing because they have the same thoughts about their guy and there's family involved on either side. And it's like, wild, dude. It's just like, I guess at the end of the day, I'd just rather have both guys come out safe.
Yeah.
You know, like my job is to keep my guy safe and have him win. So then there's also that conflict of like, you can't worry about that too much because then it'll keep you from doing your job, right? If you're so worried. And I think if I ever get to that point, I'll have to stop. Like I'm so worried that they're going to get hurt, then either they should be not in there or I shouldn't be here, you know?
It's interesting hearing you say that you have those same feelings, those human-like feelings of like, man, I don't want somebody to get hurt.
No, I don't. And I know the level that they're fighting at, the things that they sacrifice to get to where they are. And I was like, man, yeah, it's dangerous. At the end of the day, it's still a fight.
Yeah.
You know? Much as it's a sport, like two guys are still trying to get each other out of there. You know what I mean?
Yep. So then the question is like, at the end of the day, why do we fight?
I don't know, dude. Why do we fight? I guess it's the challenge. It's the proving that I don't know. It really is like proving whatever you do is better than what they do. Or just proving to yourself that you can push yourself to places you never thought you can go. And then you get addicted to that feeling of pushing yourself there. And you keep wanting more and more and more of it. And then it's hard to stop because once that feeling's gone, what replaces it? You know what I mean? Like, how do you replace that? Like, because it's a selfish thing. It's a pride thing. It's an ego thing. It's a physical. It's a mental. It checks so many boxes, you know?
Yeah.
So like, and once you do it once, you want to do it again and again. And then you get at then you get up to like different levels of it where it's like, wow, that's wild. You know, like where it's not just two guys going in there and kind of just swinging and seeing who comes out, like your first couple fights. Now it's like strategy. And is my strategy better than your strategy? You know? And yeah, this is what makes it fun. It's just like evolving and getting the best out of the person you're working with.
Yeah.
To help them succeed and get their goal, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, it's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild.
How do you feel about the opponent? Like if you see an opponent just getting, just beat, brutalized, whatever.
Yeah. I don't like it. No, it's not fun watching someone get beat up. You know, I hope that they stop it. And if it was my guy, I would stop it. You know?
Yeah. You've stopped fights before?
Yeah. It's been a very long time, but yeah, I'm not afraid to be like, all right, get mad at me. I don't care, dude. Like, at least we'll be able to talk about it later on, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
One question, sorry to jump all over the place, but like just curiosity, home life, was there chaos? Was there stability? Was it, what was it like growing up?
I think typical Midwest kid, you know, father works during the day, mom works during the night. I don't think it was ever like crazy. It was just all my friends were the same way. Like their parents worked. Some was like a lot of times we were home alone, and yeah, I don't know, just normal 80s, 90s kids. I don't know. I don't think there was anything that like, it wasn't like terrible or horrible, or it was just, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then what?
Yeah.
So then what did your parents say about just about this wild streak? Like, do you remember when it came out? Because
I mean,
there has to be
I
a
don't,
defined point where it started.
I don't know if it was ever like a wild streak. I mean, my sister was kind of wild too, I guess. I guess we all just kind of had that. I don't know if it ever like just showed up. Just maybe it was always there, you know? And yeah, I don't know. I don't think there was ever like a defining moment like, oh shit, this kid woke up one day and was like wild. I think
Yeah.
they were just maybe had a lot of energy, and
Yeah.
then we just got drawn to certain things, and that's just what happened. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. So it
yeah,
was
I don't
more
think there
like
was
wanting
ever
to have
one.
fun.
I guess so. Yeah. Like, you never
Yeah.
want to stop playing. I know that at least for me, because I still the same way. Like, I don't want to stop playing ever. Like, I
Yeah. Did
feel
your
like what I
dad?
do for work is playing.
Yeah. Did your mom or dad ever say anything about like? Did they know you were fighting when you were like? When did that
I
start?
mean,
What age?
I think like I get in trouble maybe at school for a fight or two, and like they knew maybe I got into altercations.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't think I probably didn't start like getting into more fights till I was like later in my teens, like early 20s. And then I found the gym, and then
Okay.
it kind of like smoothed out from there. Like, well, maybe I shouldn't be doing that to these people because I've seen what happens in the gym. And if I hit this guy outside, they could really hurt him, So kind of like the gym kind of like showed up in my life at the right time, like
Yeah.
just kind of flowed together. You know what I mean? So yeah, like I don't think there was ever like, I did get in trouble once for I think I got suspended a couple times for fighting at school, but it wasn't like a constant thing. It wasn't like always getting into fights, but I just, I got in trouble. Like maybe in my head, like every normal kid, but maybe it wasn't like every normal kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your parents
Seemed
were
normal to
like,
me.
your parents were kind of like, just rolled with it, just let you be you, as long
I
as
mean,
you
I
weren't
guess
going.
you'd probably have to ask their opinion about it. My dad probably thought it was cool just because he's like, like he likes fighting,
Yeah.
and like he kind of maybe, thinks he grew up kind of wild too. So it's like, just made sense that maybe I grew up wild. So maybe that's where I get it from, like his crazy wild past.
Yeah.
And then I also hear stories about my mom's side of the family where her brothers were like kind of like greasers and whatever and wild and like maybe not greasers, but like, they like fast cars and they got in fights here and there. So it just, it's just in me, dude. I don't know, like,
So it was all normal. Yeah. It was just all kind of.
yeah, it just seemed normal. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the people I hung out with or the people I saw, like people got in fights. It's just what happened, like friends, people's brothers, like, I don't know, maybe just a group maybe I was just drawn to those kind of people. I don't know, but it just seemed like it was everywhere. I just remember like even like going from one town to the other on a bicycle, I'd have to cross this like bridge. And I always thought these like scary metalhead dudes were hanging out or like Satan worshippers. And I was like always afraid of them. Like they were going to like kill me or something. Like just during that time period. So like I just was around a lot of that crazy shit, like hanging out at the arcade. You're like, dude, I don't know about those guys over there, It's kind of wild. But I was still kind of drawn to that. Like one day, then I became that guy. Like, why the fuck that happened? The guys I was scared of, I like eventually turned into them. Like, what, dude? And just hearing stories, like my friend Brad will tell stories of like me getting in fights at shows. And I'm like, I feel like I don't remember any of that. Like I blocked it out, or just maybe it was so normal. It didn't seem to be something that would stick out in my head. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah. It's just fucking crazy.
And you never drank?
No. I never got drunk. I like tried a beer once. I was like, God, it's so stupid. What's the point of doing this if I'm not going to get drunk,
Wow.
Yeah. I just figured I didn't want to, like, my dad drank. He was an alcoholic. So I was like, I didn't really want to go down that path, and maybe that's why I'm the way I am. Maybe I'm secretly deep down inside angry at him or some shit about it. But I don't know. We got a good relationship now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ain't one of those things where I'm like, oh, fuck that guy. But yeah, I don't know. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
It just seems like everybody's dad was like that back then. It was like they go to work, they drink, and they come home. Like that's just how life was. And as you get older, you realize, well, maybe life wasn't like that everywhere else, and maybe it was a little more fucked up than I thought. Maybe that's why I'm a little more was angry at shit.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. Do you being a trainer, do you try to encourage any of your friends that don't train or relatives or anybody? Do you try to get them into fighting?
I don't know if I try to encourage anybody to do it, just because fighting's, it's like I said, it changes you. Like, I mean, who knows how many concussions I've had, like how different my brain is because of this, like there's that reality of like playing football. You see guys that like they change.
Yeah.
Like when you get older, like you notice that shit changes, So it's like, it's hard for me to like want to encourage somebody to do that because I know the positive you can get out of it, but I also know, like it can kind of mess you up sometimes, and if you spend too much time in it and don't get anywhere, like I've seen a lot of like guys end up with nothing, like then I've also seen it save so many people. So yeah, I don't know if I'd ever encourage. I'd tell you go to school, you know what I mean? Get a job, but like if do it for a little bit to kind of build that self-confidence and like be exposed to it. Like my nephew wants to start doing it. He's I think he's 4 or 6. I should know this, but we were at the house the other day and he's like hitting the pads and like then he went home and he like really wanted to do it. So I'm like, I'll work with him, show him how to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want him to fight, but
Yeah.
I'll do it so maybe he can build self-confidence in
Right.
himself and like, and if he's interested in something, of course, I'm not going to turn him away from it. If somebody came to me and they were interested, I'll steer them. I'll help them. Maybe they can like eventually get out of it and use this as a jump start for something else in their life. But yeah, I'll never discourage anybody to do it, but I will never be like, hey, you should try doing this, unless maybe it was a case where they like, you saw that there was no way out. Maybe they don't know what to do and they're kind of lost and maybe they do need a little bit of a kick in the ass, and straighten them out. Yeah, I don't know, but I don't know. I'm not like, I don't know if I'd promote it, but maybe I do without even trying.
Yeah.
People are like, yo, maybe I want to live that life. I want to see the world. Like, dude, the places I've been are crazy. I've been to so many countries and met so many amazing people because of this. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's a tough one to answer. Like, would I sell it or wouldn't I? Because
well,
I wouldn't change what I did.
From what I heard, it's either all in or nothing.
Yeah, dude, you can't half-ass this. Yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is like, even somebody who is just going through a rough period of life, that you're just like, hey, you should hop into a Muay Thai gym and start punching some things. Might make you feel better. Or is it like?
No, I guess you're right. I guess at that level of it, that's great. And I think I have told people to do that, man. You should try this, and it's like good fitness, and it's good for your mental clarity.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, promoting that is great. But then like taking it as far as like some of the people I work with is like, I don't know, dude, it's only for a handful of people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, is it hard for you just to say, hop into training without wanting to, I guess, perfect their fighting? But you kind of said, you just go with the flow, like however they're feeling.
Yeah. I wouldn't, I'd never push anybody to fight unless they wanted to. You got to want to do it. Like, especially when it gets to that far. Training, fine. Go for it, dude. You want to move around with someone, like do spar, cool. But yeah, if you want to fight, like, you got to want to be in it. You got to want to do it. Otherwise, yeah, you can't make someone or convince someone. Like, I would never want to have something happen, like, and I've convinced them to fight. Like, oh, maybe they shouldn't have done that,
Yeah.
I've done that with a fighter once. I took him, he had a lot of fights and I was like, oh, you want to get a payday. So I went to take him to get a fight. He got knocked out. He's holding on the stretcher. I had to go find him at the hospital. I was like, yo, I'm never doing that again. Like, I was trying to get the guy a couple bucks and I knew he had experience. It wasn't like he was new, but like to see that, dude, was like, I showed up at the place and started crying, like, oh, I'm falling apart. You're like, thought I got this guy killed. And he's like, oh, I'm okay. I'm like, yeah, we won't do that no more. Like,
Yeah. So you take it hard.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel?
Dude, dude, I'm surprised I didn't cry. We were talking about the shit with my dad before. I'm stuck in there. But even like, dude, after fights, like sometimes walking out to the cage with these guys, I get like choking it back or after the fight, or sometimes I got to go like take a break and just get away from them. Like kind of just let it all out. Cause yeah, dude, it's a lot of emotions, man.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, it's cause you're with them and you're kind of building up to all this with them and then it's over and it's like, oh, I hope it turns out great. It's good. But if they get knocked out, you're like, oh, dude, what did I do? Like, did I help that happen? So yeah, dude, it's wild. It's a wild career.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting to hear you even say like, so you don't separate yourself from the fighter. It's almost like you're linked to the fighter when they're going in.
You can't not be. You try to be separate from them just for the fact that you want to be able to do your job, right? You want to be able to have a clear mind and a clear thought process going into that where you're not emotionally attached to them. But that's so hard to do. But you got to kind of force yourself to do your job and then come back to it after, like with a guy like Jared, who I've known forever. It's like, geez, every time he walks out there, it's like, I'm doing my job. He's doing his job. And then, I won't even look at his parents. And it's like, after we're cool. Like then we can talk, hug, whatever. But I got to be able to make sure that I'm in a mind frame of doing my job so I can keep him safe and keep him able to do his job. because once emotions get attached, you start making poor decisions, you start like getting like, like you got to be able to do your job. And then after, whew, and it all hits you. So you got to like deal with it after, then you're like
Yeah.
wiped out for 3 days.
Wow. Really? 3 days?
Oh, dude, I'll be like Wednesday before I'm like, kind of feel my life back, Yeah, it just
Wow.
trains you, dude. Just trains you. And it's
Wow.
like a high. You build up to this one moment, then it's over. And then it's like, now what? Like they won,
Ah,
great. They lost, whatever. And it's like, all right, then I gotta go back and do it with another person. The fighters have it the worst because they have this big moment and then like they get this 2 days and like, yay, yay. Now what?
yeah.
Now what do I do? Now I gotta start over and build back up and do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude. Wild.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. It is wild. It's a wild profession. It's
Sure is, dude.
I can definitely relate. Um, how do you choose which fighter to train? Like, if there's
They
two
kind of
fighters that
choose. Yeah, that's two fighters that want me at the same time. And that's tough. I mean,
have you ever had that happen?
yeah. Where I've kind of had to push somebody to the side. Yeah, especially now where it's like people hire me, to come train for specific camps, and like sometimes it's got to be financially. Who's going to take care of me more? I care for all of them, but at the end of the day, like this is how I make a living now. So I
Yeah.
kind of got to be like, well, this person's paid me extra to come, so I got to maybe push these guys away. Hasn't happened too often where they've overlapped, but it has, and I got to like call one person, be like, dude, I'm sorry, I can't make it. And it feels horrible, dude. It's just like you're telling your kid that you can't like show up at their birthday party or something, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a horrible feeling. I wish I could be there for everybody and not have to actually worry about making a living. But at the end of the day, this is the job I chose, so I gotta kind of have to do something to make money so I can pay for these people to eat, me to eat.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
how do you keep getting better? Like, it's any, like, as a fighter, you can work on your ground game, you can work on your stand up game, but how do you get better as a trainer?
Just being aware of yourself, just being open to new ideas and just constantly allow yourself to learn. Not be so shut off and think like this is the only way that it has to be done. Because you have to adapt to each and every person. So you got to kind of be able to understand that person and find the best way to get their best out, but then also stay up with the times and, maybe train yourself and study videos and see what works, what doesn't work, watch fighters that you trained in their past and see if they did something at one point in time that was really good. See if you can bring that back out and then just understanding what works, what doesn't work. And like, it's like making a chopper. You got this big, cool motorcycle, but then you take all the pieces off that don't make sense. And then it's like, I got something that just rides, it's smooth and it goes and it looks good and it performs, and it's like, just got an engine and a wheel, man. That's all you need, like same thing with the fighter. You get rid of all the stuff that you don't need and just get them down to whatever makes them the coolest and best, right? Like make them into a chopper. Just get rid of all the shit you don't need, man. And just, I'm going to make you perform and do the things that you do well and just, like, just go with that, like, why are we focused on the other stuff? Like, to be able to see that and understand that, you know what I mean?
All right. So you pour yourself into these fighters, with 6 weeks?
Yeah.
Is it usually
Usually about
6
6
weeks
weeks.
or is it usually longer? Like, do you work with them?
Sometimes it's shorter, sometimes it's longer. Nowadays it feels shorter. I come in for like the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Okay. So you spend 6 weeks, we'll say, just pouring yourself out into fighters the whole time. Do you feel drained after that? And how do you fill yourself back up?
I mean, you spend like, every day with this person for like 4 weeks, 6 weeks, sometimes longer. And then when you go for fight week, you're with them every single day, like almost all day long, unless I go disappear. Yeah, it drains. It takes a lot out of you. It really does. And I think that's why I have those, like I used to be with them all the time, like nonstop. But then like, in order for me to do my job, I have to go away and be me. So like I go disappear, find coffee shops, I go explore different neighborhoods. Maybe I'll go under a bridge and paint or some shit or meet some friends or go to, like I went and saw, I was with a fighter in Tampa Bay and this band Black Flag was playing, this old punk band. And I was like, I'll go to that. So like they were done training. I took off, went and did my thing. And then I came back, so it was like, I get to separate myself from them for a little bit so I can have me, so I can come back and do my job and give them all of me, so I'm not like, because yeah, it's training, dude. It's like
Yeah.
constantly being there for someone all the time, like having to be up and be like, sometimes to get them motivated. Like, yeah, it takes a lot out of you. And then even after you're done, it's like, takes a couple days to recharge, and kind of find yourself again and like be able to have that want again to like want to go ahead and, go back to the gym and train people, because it can just beat you down, man. It could take a lot out of you,
Yeah.
physically and
So you
mentally.
basically have to take mini vacations.
Pretty much. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which is nice nowadays where I'm like, guys will bring me in for a camp and then I'll get to go do my own thing and take a break for a little bit and come back and, go with another camp. But like when I was like, for a while there, I'd go to a fight, I'd come back, be back in the gym Monday, and then just keep going. So it was like the fighter takes a break, but I was never taking a break. And it was like some days
Mm,
it'd be like, I don't want to go in, I don't want to see anybody, I don't want to talk fighting, I don't want to watch fighting, and you kind of get a little burnt out. So
yeah.
it's important to be aware of that and address that so you don't get burnt out.
Have you ever been in like in a fight camp or at a fight where you're just like, I'm not here, and how do you reconnect?
Yeah, I mean, fight night, you got to just show up no matter what, like
Yeah.
even if you feel like done or out or yeah, I don't know if I've ever experienced the night of the fight or the week of the fight where I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this. Like you may say it like, oh, another fight, but I feel like I still find a way or not even fight. I feel like I'd show up no matter what. Like at the end of the day, I still love this. So
Yeah.
like fight night, fight week, it's like your adrenaline's pumping, you're nervous, and it's like it's not hard to kind of show up then, but like
Hmm.
sometimes those fight camps where it's like it just keeps going and it's not working. So, they can't get the guy to perform or how he should. It can get frustrating. But then when it all comes together the day of or something, like, oh, wow, we did it. Like or they did it. We all whatever. Like it worked. So kind of like this feels great. Like that's why we did this. That's why there was that turbulent period so that we could shine at the end. And find it.
Yeah. Well, in these mini vacations, it seems like you're going to places that have graffiti. I mean, I've seen on your Instagram,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
have a
yeah,
lot of pictures of graffiti.
yeah.
Um, have you ever come across like a dangerous person that puts you in a bad situation?
No, no. Of all the interesting places I've been, I've never been in a spot where I felt like, oh, you know what? Maybe Brazil. I went to I went to check out this like paint store in like Sao Paulo and like downtown. I remember like getting out of the Uber and being like, yo, maybe I shouldn't be here. Like I don't want to get robbed from my phone or something. I just felt a little like I wasn't in danger, but I kind of felt like that. Like it was just a different environment. You know what I mean? And I was like, kind of be alert a little bit more, and just kind of be like, know what's up and keep your phone tucked away and like just, and yeah, just kind of have a little more, I don't know, street smarts or just be like, all right, let's just be a little more aware, but no, I never like found myself in a situation where I felt like, oh man, maybe I shouldn't be here or like getting robbed. Or, I mean, I don't want to say that and it's going to happen like tomorrow or something, right? But
Yeah,
no,
yeah, yeah, yeah. God
I've never
forbid.
been in a situation where I felt like I think I know enough of the surroundings not to put myself in a spot where I'm going to be like if it's too sketchy, I'm like, yo, it's not worth it. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
if that building I want to go check out, like seems a little too sketchy, like I just won't go in it. You know what I mean? I want to
Yeah,
go in it, want to see what's in it, maybe want to go explore, but I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's not smart right now. And I'll go
follow
back
your
later.
gut. Yeah.
But
Uh, so my coach is from Sao Paulo, and
okay,
yeah, and I told him I was going to talk to you today, and he was just like, "Oh man, that's so cool." His son fights. He's like, I think he's 19, and he was
nice.
like, "Ask him what, or do you have any advice for future fighters, or any advice how to build a high level fighter from beginning or intermediate
I
to
mean,
like a pro?"
I think it's just details, man. It's like the little extras you put in yourself. You know what I mean? Like even if you don't know what you're doing, like you can get yourself in top shape so that you can keep going to learn the techniques. You know what I mean? Like
That's for the
that's the
fighter.
one thing you can do in the beginning is just make sure that you're like putting the right fuel in the engine, like doing all the little fine tuning things. Like the guy shows you something, maybe your coach shows you a move and you just keep drilling it over and over and over and you live it and you love it and you become it so that you can keep growing. You know what I mean? Don't just take it for granted or I just see so many people kind of just walk through the steps. You know what I mean? And I'm like, well, but they're going to be a good fighter, but they're not going to be great. You kind of have to do the little things, the things that nobody else sees, and those the things that nobody, you're not posting on the internet or whatever. You're doing those little things to make yourself better. You know what I mean? Like all the greats have done it. How many baskets of Michael Jordan shot, just to perfect it. So he knows that he could do it no matter what, every single time the same way. It's the same thing. George St.
Mm,
Pierre practicing timing a punch for a takedown. How many times he's done that? So it just becomes automatic. It's those little things that you have to do. It's the little tiny minute things that you do that make you rise above the best, right? Just
yeah.
like in anything.
Yeah.
And you can talk about it, but if you don't do it, you're not doing it. And like saying you're going to do it or like saying I'm the best are one thing. And some people can just get away with it because they're naturally gifted. But then eventually you run into that wall where someone else has done something more than you and perfected it. And then you wish you would have done it maybe, or like you didn't, kind of took it for granted. So yes, I guess it's just the details, man. Just,
Yep.
you know,
Yeah. Over and over.
over and over, man. Do it over and over.
Gotcha. Okay. Last question.
Yeah, dude.
From my wife.
Yeah.
She so I'm sure there's so many people who think this. Your look is so cool that I'll bet people who don't know you and they see a UFC fight, they're like, "Who is that dude?" Like, because the signature braids down
Yeah, I didn't.
down
I
the
don't.
front.
I got a flowing today. I don't have.
Yeah. No, it's so cool. Where was the
I don't
inspiration
know.
for
Just
that?
like shit. So like sophomore year of high school, I kind of had longer hair. My mom was like, "You look like a dare. Like you gotta get your hair cut." And then I got it cut, and it looked like it was like a country haircut. It was like short and long. And I was like, "This ain't working." And my buddy Rob, the skateboarder dude I hung out with, Rob Owens, he shaved my head sophomore gym class. So like I went to school with hair and I shaved my head. I remember my sister said, "I came into lunch and I saw your head was so tiny looking, so I just shaved my head forever." And then like in my 30s, I'm like, maybe I'll grow it out again. I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I was like, a little longer on the top, I guess. And then I started slicking it back. And I was like, this is cool. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to grow it out. My dad always had kind of long hair. So I'm like, I'm going to grow it like my dad. And then I guess we'd all eventually just turn to our parents. And then,
Yeah,
uh,
right.
and then I was like, yo, this shit's annoying. It's getting everywhere. So then I started like figuring out how to braid it. And I was like, oh, this keeps it out of my face. And then I just kind of stuck with it. I was like, all right, I'll just keep braiding it. There was this I can't remember the dude's name. There's this a hardcore band from New York called Marauder. I remember like seeing them play. I wish I could remember his name. There's a dude in the band, and he had braids. So I was like, "Yo, that shit's tight," like. And I just kind of stuck with it. Like, well, now it's like my thing. So like, I feel like I braided up before the fights, and like it's like ready to go to war. And it's kind of like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, it gets you in the zone. And then I
Yeah.
let it free flow. Sometimes I'm just chilling.
Yep. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
Jason, thank you so much for doing
no
this.
problem, man.
I appreciate it so much. It was an honor talking to you.
Yeah, yeah, we could do it again anytime, man.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Think of some more
Yeah.
things to talk about. Maybe, yeah, I don't know.
Well, you're going to have a lot to talk about with raising the kid.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, there's definitely, we could probably talk about that for hours, right?
I mean, it brings things out of you that you're just like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need like a month to think about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
My daughter's 9 now, so it's like, things that just came up from my childhood and,
Yep.
Being married, things that come up from your childhood that you're like, I just had a huge breakthrough
Yeah.
with my wife that I just realized. And I'm like, oh my God. And like, I think all day Sunday, it was just like, tears were just right there, like welling up. Cause I'm like, oh my God, I never realized this about my childhood. Cause I just kind of brushed it off. Like that's normal. Yeah. So
no. Like we talked about in the, like, yeah, like that just seemed normal. Like, yeah, like, I guess it wasn't. I guess it was kind of like, maybe a little messed up, some of the shit that happened. And yeah, we do a pretty good job of hiding it sometimes, but yeah.
Well, it's
but
just normal because we never seen anything different. But then when we start parenting our child, and we're like, oh my God, I would never do that. Dude, and then you're like, whoa, I went through that. Whoa.
How much more? I mean, I'm pretty an emotional person. I think that's also why I get kind of like hot and cold. Like, like I cry pretty easy. I get angry very easy. So, dude, having a kid was just like, at anything and everything. And like I was dancing with him in the living room yesterday, and I'm like trying to fight back tears. Like she's looking at me, and I'm like trying to hide it from my girl and the kid. But I'm like, dude, this is like a beautiful moment. It's like yeah, I don't know. It's special, but yeah, dude. And relationships, right, are such a challenge too, right? I don't think people understand how much work it is to have a healthy and open relationship as you could say how you feel. You know, like
Yeah.
relationships in the past, you just kind of get, and you still do get annoyed with your partner. It happens. You're with them all the time. And then when you have a kid, it's not like when you first start hanging out, you're in love and you just, oh, we're just going to make out and have sex and life is great. And then all of a sudden it's like reality sets in and it's like you're two people with two different ideas living together. And now you're living with another human and you're trying to have your ideas work and their ideas work. And there's a kid. It's
Yeah.
like some days you're like, I don't like you. And then some days I love you. But if you can understand that and work with that, and if the
Yeah.
person you're with is open and understands that, you can only build stronger. And sometimes you go like this, right? Sometimes you're just two people coexisting in the same environment to keep that person healthy and alive. And then sometimes you're madly in love, and then sometimes you're
Yeah.
not. It's like, but again, it comes back to that certain point in your life. Like, I don't know if I would be able to uh, be aware of that when I was younger. You know what I mean? Like, I'm
Totally.
aware of it now, and I know me enough to know how I can kind of set my ego aside and accept that I'm maybe not making the right decisions or my actions aren't the way they should be, or that I can maybe be a little less temperamental, or I don't know. It's kind of cool. It's difficult. I don't know, man, but I guess it's kind of like life, right? Like that's just how life is. And I feel like that's how my whole life has been. Just this like, and then it's good. And then it's like, then it's like, okay, it's working. And it's like, the next step. And it's the next layer. And you get through this and see that. You're like, wow, dude, if I would have never taken the time to observe what was happening to learn how to deal with it and learn from it, then I kind of lost a lot of shit, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's such a trip because you got your own ebbs and flows. You're just
Yeah.
life is going up and down, and then your mood's going up and down. And like, you could look at it down to like what you ate that day. If
Yeah,
it's
dude.
if it's
Wild.
making you like go nuts or be in a
Yeah.
great mood or whatever, but
Yeah. Yeah.
then your partner is in a completely different
Yeah.
cycle of life that's just going up and down, and what she ate. And then your
Yeah.
kid, if you is your kid like having a good day? Did they eat something bad and they're
Right, dude?
fussy? Trying to
Wild.
put it all together.
It's
Like,
wild.
it's wild that our parents stayed together, but you have all
I
these
know,
parents that
right?
stayed together and stuck it out, and they show us like, oh, that's what it takes.
Yep.
It's just like you said, this is what it is.
Yeah,
It's really difficult.
it is.
And even what's funny is like you given that the visual of you just dancing in the living room with your kid.
Yeah.
I'm like, I remember doing that, and then I think an hour later I was screaming into a pillow,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
literally
Yeah. Yeah.
grabbing a pillow. I've
Yeah.
never done this in my life. I've never
Yeah.
screamed into a pillow in my
Yeah.
life. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
it's
stop crying. Like, what? Ugh. I
yeah,
love you so much.
yeah. I love you so
Oh,
much, but I don't know how to help you.
yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wild, dude.
wild, wild.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're done now, but I did want to
Cool.
tell you, like, the hardcore story. Do you know
Yeah.
Khalil Roundtree was in the hardcore scene?
Yeah, dude. Isn't that crazy? I actually met him when I was living in Thailand.
Wow. Oh yeah, he
Yeah.
was there for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
Lando Venata, he
Yeah.
rides dirt bikes.
That's cool. Yeah, there's a couple dudes that work cutmen for the UFC that like I'll be at the airport, we'll be talking, and they're like, oh, find out they've been riding dirt bikes forever, and it's like, yeah, it's just I feel like I'm in so many different like subgenres that like it kind of branches out in the different worlds, but kind of all still the same. But
Yep.
when you meet someone else that's in that world, it's just so cool, Like, so I met, oh man, Gavin. Gavin from in the band Burn, this New York hardcore band. I met him years ago through Muay Thai. He came to the gym. It's like we've been friends and we all kind of like know a lot of the same people in the same scene because of that. So it's like a crossover kind of thing. So yeah, just it's cool worlds, man.
I never knew anything about hardcore until Khalil talked about it.
That's cool.
And then it made me remember, like, dude, I'm telling you, like my town was like 1,500 people.
Yeah, yeah.
So we it's embarrassing, but we listened to ICP,
Hell
and
yeah.
I remember
Where you from?
Pennsylvania,
Okay,
in, be-
okay.
in between Erie and Pittsburgh. It's on the Ohio side,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
right
yeah,
on the
yeah, yeah.
border.
Well, shit,
Yeah,
Erie had a huge scene back in the days, like Erie hardcore scene, the Erie
I didn't know that.
What do they call it? Like Lake Effect hardcore? Yeah,
Oh wow! So this was a
yeah,
big. I didn't realize it was
yeah.
that
Like
big.
brothers, the damn Brothers Keeper from out there. There was there was a bunch of bands, and like yeah, that whole area, like Cleveland, yeah, like it was just scenes all over the place. Dude, it was wild.
Yeah, well, I just remember like ICP saying they were going to put on
Yeah,
these like these. I don't know if you ever like heard or went to them, but they like put on these giant
I know,
concerts
fest, dude.
where
Yeah,
people like would be just spraying Fago
yep, yep.
everywhere and like fighting, and I was always like, I want to go, but I don't want to go. This
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah, yeah,
scary.
yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking wild.
Yeah. One last thing, best advice I ever got raising my child: read to them like 3 times a day, 3 books each
Yeah,
time,
nice,
and it helps out tremendously.
awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. Thanks, man.
Yeah. The Heart of the Bad Wolf is created and hosted by Nicholas James Muscarella, produced by Nicholas James Muscarella and Robert Altschuler. Edited, recorded, and mixed by Robert Altschuler at Command Creative Studios. Music by Alex Grohl. Special thanks to every fighter who shared their story and their wolf. Don't forget to hit the like, follow, and subscribe button on your favorite podcast platform to get notified when new episodes drop. Also, make sure you follow us on Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Heart of the Bad Wolf.